Good morning, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. I would like to welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of International Relations at the conference with the title Germany and the V4 Countries, Cooperation in the Security and Defense Area. We would we probably cannot find or could not find a more auspicious time for discussing the cooperation between the Visegrad 4 countries and Germany than this moment, for a number of reasons. We, of course, know that the cooperation and consultations between and among all of those countries are running as intensely as ever. But at the same time, on the highest level, there have been quite a few disagreements among those countries, not the least of those being the widely different solutions, proposed solutions to the so-called migration crisis, where some of these 5 countries represent the opposite ends of the political spectrum in the European Union. So obviously there is a lot of strain in the partnership or in the partnerships. Also, the domestic situation in the countries is changing, both in Germany and in the Visegrad 4. We all have closely followed the parliamentary election in Poland this weekend, which of course meant a radical change in Polish domestic politics, and the question is how far this change will also impact the relations with the other 3 Visegrad 4 countries and with Germany, given the track record of the soon-to-be governing party in Poland. There might be some doubts, and perhaps this conference will help to clarify this issue as well. I would like to, before passing the floor to the director, Werner Böhler, the director of the Prague office of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, I would like to thank our partners, KAS in the first place, for their both financial and intellectual support for this conference. And I would also like to thank our co-organizer of the last panel, the European Values think tank, with which, as I said, we will organize jointly the last panel. So thank you all for coming. I hope you will not regret it. You will enjoy the discussions here today. And with that, I'd like to pass the floor to Mr. Böhler.
Yeah, thank you very much for these nice words. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning everybody. It's a pleasure to me, by the same time, to welcome you on behalf of Konrad Adenauer Foundation to this international security conference with the important topic Germany and Visegrad 4 countries, cooperation in security and defense area. First of all, I would obviously express my gratitude to our partners, the Institute of International Relations in Prague and the European Values, for organizing together with us this event. Many thanks belong to all our foreign but also the domestic speakers and the participants. I appreciate your attendance and I'm looking forward to a day full of exciting and interesting discussions. As many of you know, Konrad Adenauer Foundation is one of the German political foundations. We have close ties to the Christian Democratic Values and Christian Democratic Union in Germany. We share together the values, but when it comes to the staff and to financing, we are completely independent from the party. With about 80 offices around the world, with our international cooperation, we are concentrated on principle of democracy, freedom, justice and solidarity. Beyond, in the Czech Republic, we are committed to the dialogue on European topics the role of Central European region in Europe, and the bilateral relationship between our two countries, which includes the neighboring region and especially the Visegrad countries. In this particular field, we are also supporting, for example, GLOBSEC, together with the Winfried Martin Center of European Studies, as sole institutional partners. During the last decade, many of you might know, the Global Security Conference of Bratislava emerged to the most important event in Central Europe on international security architecture. Our today's panels focus on the assessment of the German V4 cooperation in security and defense areas. Due to the same geographical location and history, the Visegrad Group is an important platform for German cooperation. During the last decades, the Konrad Adenauer Foundation has supported the strengthening of this cooperation, but there is still space for further improvements in the common security and defense strategy with regard to the current crisis the EU is facing. These persisting crises pose a threat to Europe's security and stabilization. In respect of the Ukraine crisis, we have to be aware, I think, of the fact that people are still dying in the military conflict and a peaceful resolution is out of sight yet, as well as a normalization of European relations with Russia. Moreover, Europe is facing the largest migration crisis since the Second World War, and still the EU is not able to find a common solution. Concerning to the current refugee challenge, Germany and the Visegrad Group have different positions as well, especially when it comes to the distribution of immigrants. But there are not only divergences between these two partners, likewise the positions within the Visegrad groups are visibly not completely congruent. In the end, it is not all about having always the same and identical opinion and position, but rather of finding a compromise and a way out which offers a common European strategy and a solution with which each partner can live with. Therefore, political dialogue between Germany and the Visegrad Group, its partnership as well as its cooperation on research and development in the defense area is highly important, especially in the actual political phase. I'm convinced that this conference offers today a good platform to discuss these topics with our excellent speakers thoroughly. I wish all of us fruitful and interesting discussions, hopefully with concrete results, and I would like to wish all of you an interesting day. Thank you very much.